Good morning everyone. This is class 12, subject chemistry, chapter number 7 of NCERT book, P block elements. In this lecture, I will be discussing group 17th elements, occurrence, atomic and physical properties of group 17th elements, and after that we will discuss the chemical properties, and in chemical properties I will discuss oxidation state. And in the end of this lecture, I will be discussing the homework that I gave you in lecture number 7. So group 17th elements: fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine are the members of group 17th, and they are collectively known as the halogens. The symbol for fluorine is F and the atomic number is 9. For chlorine, the symbol is Cl and the atomic number is 17. For bromine, it is Br and the atomic number is 35. For iodine, it is I and the atomic number is 53. And for astatine, At is the symbol and the atomic number is 85. And this astatine is radioactive element. Now, next is electronic configuration of group 17th elements. So these are the electronic configuration of group 17th elements. For example, fluorine, it has atomic number 9 and the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Now n equals to 2 is the valence shell, and in this it has 7 electrons. Whereas if we want to write down the electronic configuration in terms of noble gas, then it is helium 2s2, 2p5. So similarly, we can write down the electronic configuration for all the elements of group 17th. Now we will discuss the occurrence and atomic and physical properties of group 17th elements. So next is occurrence of group 17th elements. Fluorine and chlorine are fairly abundant, and fluorine is present mainly as insoluble fluorides. CaF2, Na3AlF6, which is also known as cryolite. So fluorine exists mainly as insoluble fluorides and also in the form of fluoroapatite. This is the formula for fluoroapatite. So fluorine exists as insoluble fluorides, whereas seawater contains chlorides, bromides and iodides of sodium, potassium, magnesium and calcium. Also, certain forms of marine life contains iodine in their systems. So this is all about the occurrence of group 17th elements. Now, next we move to atomic properties of group 17th elements. And the first property is electronic configuration. The outermost electronic configuration for group 17th elements is Ns2Np5. That is, in the valence shell, group 17 has 7 electrons. For example, if we want to write down the electronic configuration of fluorine, the atomic number is 9 and the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. So similarly, we can write down the electronic configuration for all the elements present in group 17th. Next property is atomic and ionic radii. So when we move from fluorine to iodine, atomic radii increases, and the reason for increase in atomic radii is when we move from fluorine to iodine, the number of shells increases. That is, in fluorine we have n is equal to 2 is the outermost shell. When we move to chlorine, n is equal to 3 becomes the outermost shell. So when we move from fluorine to iodine, addition of shell will take place, and that is why atomic radii increases from fluorine to iodine. And if we compare the ionic radii, then these halide ions are larger as compared to their respective atoms. For example, if we compare the radius of iodine atom and its I negative ion, so I negative is bigger in size than iodine atom. Next property is ionization enthalpy, and ionization enthalpy trend is that it decreases from fluorine to iodine. The reason is When we move from fluorine to iodine, atomic size increases and therefore the force of attraction between the nucleus and the outermost shell electron decreases. And that is why the value of ionization enthalpy decreases from fluorine to iodine. But if we compare the ionization enthalpy in periods, so fluorine has the maximum value of ionization enthalpy. As we know that the electronic configuration for group 17th elements is Ns2Np5. Therefore, they readily accept one electron to form the stable noble gas configuration, and that is why the ionization enthalpy value is higher for group 17th elements. Next we have electron gain enthalpy, and if we compare the electron gain enthalpy, so chlorine has the highest negative electron gain enthalpy, after that fluorine, then bromine, and the least negative value is observed for iodine. The reason for less negative value of fluorine as compared to chlorine is that fluorine has less negative value of electron gain enthalpy than chlorine. Because of small size of fluorine atom, strong electron-electron repulsions are present in the 2p orbital of fluorine. As the electronic configuration of fluorine is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5, so when we add electron in this 2p orbital, so because of small size of this 2p orbital, it experiences repulsion, and that is why the incoming electron, or you can say that the addition of electron is difficult in case of fluorine. And this is the reason that fluorine has less negative value as compared to chlorine. So this is the trend of electron gain enthalpy. Chlorine has the maximum negative value of electron gain enthalpy, and iodine has the least value of negative electron gain enthalpy. Next property is electronegativity. Electronegativity is defined as the tendency to attract shared pair of electron, and group 17s are highly electronegative elements, that is halogens has the highest electronegativity, and in halogens fluorine has the highest electronegativity, that is it is the most electronegative element of the periodic table, and due to increase in size from fluorine to iodine, electronegativity decreases down the group. So these are the atomic properties. Now we will discuss the physical properties of group 17th elements. So first is fluorine and chlorine. They exist in the form of gases. Bromine is a liquid and iodine exists in the form of solid. Next physical property is color, and all halogens are colored. The reason for color is, and the reason is that molecules of halogen, they absorb light in the visible region. As a result, excitation of outer electron takes place to higher energy level. That is, excitation of electron from lower energy level to higher energy level will takes place. And by absorbing different amount of energy, that is, by the absorption of different quanta of radiation, they display different color. And due to this, F2 shows yellow color, whereas Cl2 is greenish yellow, Br2 is red in color, and I2 shows violet color. Next property is melting and boiling point. So when we move from fluorine to iodine, the value of melting point and boiling point increases. And the reason is, when we move from fluorine to iodine, due to increase in size of the atom, strength of the van der Waals forces increases. And therefore the value of melting and boiling point increases when we move from fluorine to iodine. Next property is solubility. So when we compare the solubility of group 17th elements, fluorine and chlorine react with water, whereas bromine and iodine are sparingly soluble in water, but they are soluble in organic solvents. For example, Br2 and I2 are soluble in chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, and carbon disulfide, whereas in water they are sparingly soluble. Next is enthalpy of dissociation. So when we compare the enthalpy of dissociation, F2 has the highest value of dissociation enthalpy, but the actual order is Cl2, Br2, F2 and I2. That is, the value is highest for Cl2, and the reason for the low value of dissociation enthalpy of fluorine is being smaller in size, electron-electron repulsion between the lone pairs of electrons are very large. Example, here we have single bond between fluorine and fluorine. Because of small size of fluorine, what will happen? The lone pairs present on these two fluorine, they will repel each other, and because of repulsion, this bond becomes weaker. That is, the single bond becomes weaker. And that is why it has low value of bond dissociation enthalpy. So the value of bond dissociation enthalpy is highest for chlorine, then for bromine, fluorine, and the least is for iodine. Now next topic is chemical properties of group 17th elements, and first is oxidation state. All halogens exhibit -1 oxidation state because the electronic configuration, the outer electronic configuration is Ns2Np5, so they readily accept one electron and show -1 oxidation state. Also, chlorine, bromine and iodine exhibit +1, +3, +5 and +7 oxidation state. Now, this is the valence electronic configuration for group 17th Ns2Np5. Now here we have halogen atom in ground state other than fluorine. Now if this can accept one electron, it will show -1 oxidation state, and if it will lose one electron, it will show +1 oxidation state. Now in first excited state, other than fluorine, all elements of group 17 has vacant d orbitals. So in first excited state, this one electron can be excited to d orbital. Now here we have 3 unpaired electron, and these are responsible for the +3 oxidation state of halogen atom. Here we have second excited state. In second excited state, one more electron will go to d orbital, and here we have 5 unpaired electron. That accounts for +5 oxidation state. And in third excited state, we have 7 unpaired electron, and they accounts for +7 oxidation state. Now these higher oxidation states are possible only when chlorine, bromine and iodine forms compounds with small and highly electronegative atoms. For example, oxygen and fluorine. So here we have the compound of oxygen with chlorine, that is ClO3. Now in this case, the oxidation number of chlorine is +6. And here we have oxo acid of chlorine. Again, the oxidation number of chlorine in this oxo acid is +7. So when chlorine, bromine, iodine combines with small and highly electronegative atoms, only then higher oxidation states are possible. Next thing is, fluorine atom has no d orbital because the last electron enters into n is equal to 2, and for n is equal to 2, d orbital is not possible. So fluorine atom has no d orbital, and therefore it cannot expand its octet, and because of this it shows -1 oxidation state. So this is all about oxidation state. Now next is, halogens are highly reactive. They react with metals as well as with non-metals to form halides. Now we will discuss the reactions of halogen in next lecture. After doing this, you can solve NCERT in text question number 26, 27, 28 and NCERT exercise question number 24, 25 and 27. So this is the homework for today's class. Now I will be discussing the homework that I gave you in lecture number 7. So first question is, describe the manufacture of H2SO4 by contact process. So the answer for this question is, we have 4 steps for the manufacturing of H2SO4 by contact process. First step is generation of sulfur dioxide, and this can be done by burning of sulfur ores in air to produce SO2. Next step is SO2 will react with oxygen in presence of vanadium pentaoxide. This will act as a catalyst, and here sulfur trioxide is formed. Now this reaction is reversible in nature, and this reaction is exothermic in forward direction. So high pressure and low temperature favors the formation of SO3, because according to Le-Chatelier principle, when we increase the pressure, equilibrium will shift in that direction where we have less number of molecules of gas. So on left hand side we have 3 moles, and on right hand side we have 2 moles. So at high pressure this reaction will favor in forward direction. Third step is this SO3, it will react with H2SO4, and here oleum is formed, that is H2S2O7. So when we dilute this oleum with water, we are getting our H2SO4. So this is the contact process by which we can produce H2SO4. Next question is, mention 3 areas in which H2SO4 plays an important role. And the answer for this question is, H2SO4 is an important industrial chemical, and it is used in many industrial purposes and processes. Next, this H2SO4 is also used in the manufacture of fertilizers, and it is also used in detergent industry. So these are the 3 roles in which H2SO4 plays an important role. Next question is, write the condition to maximize the yield of H2SO4 by contact process. So this we have already discussed in question number 1. These are the 4 steps in the manufacturing of H2SO4, and in the second step, if we increase the pressure and at low temperature, this favors the formation of SO3, which results in increasing the production of H2SO4. Now next question is, why is Ka2 less than Ka1 for H2SO4 in water? And the answer is, when we dissolve H2SO4 in water, so it will dissociate into HSO4 negative and H3O positive. H2SO4 being strong acid in nature, it will give H plus ions, and this water will accept H plus ions. Now after releasing one proton, it will become HSO4 negative, and the tendency to donate one more proton for HSO4 negative becomes difficult. That is why the Ka2 is less than Ka1 for H2SO4 in water, because after losing one proton, this HSO4 negative has less tendency to donate one more proton, and that is why there is difference in Ka1, that is dissociation constant for this first step, and dissociation constant second. There is difference in the values of Ka1 and Ka2. So these are the questions I gave you in lecture number 7. Thank you. Have a nice day.